Okay, great. This is Lily, host of Master Leadership Podcast, and we are recording in New York City at the Glow Podcast Grow event. And I'm here with Alyssa. I'm here with Alyssa Hall. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this because we haven't really spoken today. This is our second day here.
Yes.
So can you tell us about your company and and how people can connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm a life coach for moms. So I really work with overwhelmed moms that.
Wait. Are you talking about all moms?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Pretty much all of us have that sense of overwhelm, like almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I really help them to be able to be okay with going after a life that makes them happy. I feel like a lot of moms are just like, if they're not doing the mom thing 24/7 or doing something specifically for their kids, then they feel like they can't do anything else.
And how old is your child?
She is 3.
Oh, what's her name?
Isabella.
Isabella. Okay. So tell me about how you arrived to this at this point, where you shifted to start this company.
Yeah, it was a very random thing that came into my life. I mean, I have a friend who I would help all the time. I love helping people. And just one day, randomly, she was like, "Oh my God, it's like you're my life coach." And I was just like, "Okay, girl, whatever." Like, it's like, I don't know what that is, but sure. And I decided like a couple months later, I'm going to look into this because I'm not happy with what I'm doing right now.
And what were you doing?
Oh, I think at the time, I was a serial job quitter. So around this time, I must have been.
An entrepreneur?
Right. Entrepreneur. And I think at this time I was a receptionist at a doctor's office, and I was just not happy at all. And I looked up what life coaching was, and I found this amazing certification program, and I just completely fell in love with it. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to do it. And then I saw it was $11,000, and I was like, oh God. So I just paused on it. I was like, maybe now's not the time. Maybe like when I have like my real career, then I'll be able to like afford going back to school to do this. And I just sat with it. And for an entire year, that's all I could think about was the coaching and that school. And after a year, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump into this, even though I'm like barely making any money and I would have to take out a loan for this. I'm going to do it anyway. And I signed up for the school, and 3 days into the program, I broke up with my ex and became a single mom. Yeah. And that came, and I was just like, maybe I should just back out. I can still get a refund. I've only been here for 3 days. But I was just like, no, this is what's making me happy. I'm going to keep going with this. And I did it. And I realized that the women who I loved talking with most were people who were going through something similar that I went through and who were moms. I just felt like I could instantly connect with moms.
So when I think of what you've gone through and how you got here, I think of resiliency, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a word that you use as well. Why is that important?
I feel like it's something that I really love about myself. And it took me a long time to realize that about myself. At first, I would just get annoyed that I had so many things like up against me. Before, it wasn't as like physical as like a breakup. Before, it was like depression. And I would get so frustrated that I'd have to go through depression while trying to finish college. And I'm just like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand. And it wasn't until my boyfriend at the time like really like showed me like, you're still going back, you're still trying every single semester, you're still signing up for classes, you're still saying that your dream is still going to be your dream regardless of how hard it is for you. And I took a break from that, and even now with like building this business, I'm realizing this is just a theme for me. I am so passionate about what it is that I love that regardless of whatever's coming my way, I just keep pushing, I keep going. I may like slow down, but I never say, okay, I'm gonna quit.
So what you love is empowering mothers.
Yes.
And you also mentioned mother guilt, mom guilt.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh. It just, mom guilt is a topic that just like makes me want to hug every single mom that's going through it. I mean, I'm in so many like mom groups on Facebook, and I see a lot of women post, am I a bad mom if I do this, or would it be bad if I take the day to myself and do this, that, and the third, even though like I'd be calling out of work and my kid is at school. And it's just like, no, you're always an amazing mom. As long as you're doing what you can for yourself and your kids, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be at every school function to be a great mom. You don't have to play with your kid from the moment they get home to the moment they drop down and go to sleep. And it's something a lot of us really deal with.
You know, you nailed it. I'm an educator. I was in education for years, and parents, you know, they come in and they feel that guilt. They feel, am I doing enough? I mean, good parents, right?
Right.
There are parents that are not so good.
Yes.
And so you nailed it, and the fact that you're working with this particular group of individuals that are so important is great. Now, walk me through what you would do for someone who connects with you and needs help, says to you, Alyssa, I am so overwhelmed. Help me out.
Yeah, what I love to do is help them see what their patterns are and help them see, like, there is a way. I feel like when a lot of, like, people in general go through overwhelm, it always comes with, like, that's it, there's no way, like, this is how life is. And what I do is I help them, like, see where their patterns are. And I usually, like, start with, like, taking them through a process so that they can see, like, this is how I'm showing up every single day. This is the way that I am interpreting life. And this is how I'm reacting towards that.
No, you're young.
Yes. Yes.
And you're at a place that's way ahead. Like, I mean, you nailed this at a very young age. How did that happen? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of weird. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because I feel like within like the circle of people that are around me, I'm just always thinking at a higher level, not like I'm so smart, but more like I'm thinking about like your energy when you show up to a place and like why you're getting the results that you're getting. So it's like my friends will come to me and complain to me about something, and like immediately my brain goes to coach mode. And I'm just like, well, you know, like these are what your options are. What do you want to do about it? And it's like they're coming to me to complain and like have us complain together, and I'm just like, but there's another
You're
way.
not buying it.
I'm not.
I'm not gonna be sucked into this.
I'm not. So yeah, it's really interesting. And then when I do connect with people, I'm just like, oh my gosh, wow, this is such a great connection. And then they tell me, and they're like 10 years older than me. I'm like, oh, that's so strange. It's a really weird place to be, honestly.
But it's a great place to be. You're way ahead of a lot of us who started at a later age. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Now, do you have a coach?
Yes, I do.
And why is it important for a coach to have a coach?
Oh my gosh. We have so many blind spots that we would never see.
I'm gonna hug you. I'll hug you. Go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I mean, there are certain things that I feel like I'm good at, I've mastered. When it comes to like this mom guilt thing and like all like the steps to getting past overwhelm, I feel like I got a good handle on that. But then when it comes to other everyday things, I'm like, I need someone to show me what I'm doing, because I clearly don't see what I'm doing, and that's where like having my own coach really helps.
That's super important.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what's the, I'm sorry, let me just back up. If you had one piece of advice to tell moms who are listening, what would that be?
It sounds so simple and like almost woo-woo, but change your vocabulary about what it is that you're doing. I realize that like when you say I have to do something, you don't allow any flexibility. You don't allow any like forgiveness for yourself if you don't do it, versus I want to do something. Versus I want to do something. For example, my daughter's in daycare, and they sent all the parents like this Google sheet. They're like, hey, if anyone is free next week, and you guys want to come in, you guys can do show and tell, or read a book, or pick an activity that you want to do. And I always had the intention of wanting to be super active in my daughter's school, and like just always being there as much as possible. And when I got the list, I was like, so all the things I wanted to do are taken, and the dates that are there aren't really flexible for my schedule right now. But I didn't let myself get into this thing of like, I'm a terrible parent, I need to make sure, like, I have to change my work dates, I have to do all these things just so I can go. Instead, I realized Bella is not gonna know that I'm not going. Like, it's not a thing that she's asking for. And at the end of the day, like, this isn't the only time I can do that. But by changing my vocabulary to this is something I wanted to do versus have to do, my brain allows that sort of flexibility.
And that's important, the way you speak. In fact, we were talking about that, right? And I said something, I forgot what I said. I had to change it. Oh, that I used to hate being on camera.
Yes.
And now I dislike it a lot. I've changed my vocabulary, but I'm growing, right?
Yes.
So that's important. It's important that we use the proper words to connect that, and it's important for our kids, for our children. So how is this, when you look at the future for you and your daughter, what does that look like?
I really see myself raising a child who understands how to talk about her feelings and understands how to really see how she is able to affect her world in just the way that she shows up. I feel like that's so important, and like a lot of people don't understand that it's just like you can do whatever it is that you want to do, even with, like, regardless of the circumstances, you can do anything, but it all depends on how you decide to show up and how you decide to actually take those steps. So I feel like that's really my goal for her, is just having her be able to understand her feelings and be okay with her feelings and wanting to communicate. That's what I see, and just us living happily in that way.
Wonderful. And as a Latina,
Yes.
I know that home dynamics are different, right?
Very different.
So how is this, I know that your mom, do you live with your mom?
No, but she's
very much a part of.
very much.
Okay, so has this affected how you communicate, how you connect with your mom?
Yeah, it's really put me in a place of not arguing as much, because for me, like, we bash heads a lot, but for me it was just coming from a place of not understanding why she would be at her, I would not understand her point of view, and I wouldn't understand where she was coming from. So, but now being able to understand people a lot more, I'm just like, she is her own individual person. Me going into this argumentatively isn't going to change her mind, and if I come into this calmly, she's still gonna have her opinion. She's still gonna say whatever she's gonna say. But at least I am now walking away not frustrated. Because before it was like, oh my god, my mom's coming over, that means I'm gonna be frustrated for the rest of the day. And it's like, I have control over that.
You understanding that she's at a particular space of awareness that's
Yes.
different from yours.
Yes.
Really helps. And that, my mom, she still does this. She comes to my house and she looks at all the expired stuff and starts complaining about how things are expired and starts to throw them out. It used to really upset me until I said, you know what? She's just trying to prevent something catastrophic from happening to our family.
Exactly.
And knowing that comes from a place of love, and
yes.
that's important.
Yes.
When I think about, and I listen to what you're saying, this podcast is about leadership. And master leadership is a verb, to master leadership. And I believe that we have to lead ourselves well first. Mm-hmm. Tell me about what your perspective on leadership is.
I feel like I always think about like what it means to be a good leader. Mm-hmm. And for me, when I think of a good leader, I feel like it's someone who is self-aware because they understand that, you know, there's people that they have to lead.
Right. Well, our
And-
children, right? We have to lead our children.
Yeah, but you have to come across as a certain way. And you can get things done in many different ways. And you have to understand the people that you're working with, but you also have to see how you're coming across to them. If you're coming across like very argumentative and like very just like almost scary, you'll get the things that you want done, but is it a really good environment to keep people there? Is it going to be an environment where people actually want to continue to work with you and people who actually respect you, or is it that they're just scared of you and they're doing it just to like get you off their back? And I feel like being self-aware is so important. And I think of it in leadership and like the same with motherhood. Like you have to be aware of who you are and your mistakes and be okay and apologize and like be the bigger person and go through the hard things of saying you're sorry to a 6-year-old, right? It's yeah.
That's powerful, because I'll remember that. I have a 16-year-old, and he's a handful at 3. Wait till they're teenagers.
Right.
He really primes my leadership, and as children, as you know, as your daughter will prime your leadership and who you are and how you show up, right?
Yeah.
So it's really fantastic, and leadership is about influence, and we have the privilege of influencing them, so that's awesome. Self-awareness, I love how you talk about that a lot, and not a lot of people are self-aware. And it's a process, it's a journey.
It
right?
is.
I know for me, I have to have an inner circle of people that I tap into. And you're smiling.
Yes.
You do too?
Yes.
Why is that important?
It is so important to have people who will tell you about yourself. There are
No
times
BS.
like no BS where I'm just like texting my best friends about like what, especially like when I was together with my daughter's father, like I would text them things and they're like, girl, like what are you doing? And it's just like, oh, and you're seeing yourself, like it's looking at a mirror. When you have those people in front of you, it's looking at a mirror, and then it's just like about taking what they said, seeing it, and then it's like, all right, what am I going to do now? How am I going to either correct this, or how am I going to move forward with this new information that I have?
And I love that. Thank you. One of the things that we did touch on before this interview was the fact that you said, I'm an introvert. We've been at this event for 2 days.
Yes.
And as an introvert, how difficult was it to get here and, tell me?
Oh my gosh. This is another moment where like I needed my circle, because it was, what's today, like Thursday? My birthday was on Monday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I was telling them about it. I'm like, I'm so excited, blah, 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 okay. Tuesday, the day before the event, I was just curled up in a ball. I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. And they were like, girl, you've been talking about this for a month and a half. What are you talking about? You have to do this. You need to be able to go out and do this. And they're like, this is gonna be good for you. You can meet new people. Like, nothing bad will come from this. And it was so hard. Like, Wednesday morning, I was finally like, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna think about it. And then I finally got here, and I'm like, I almost missed this. What? It's a journey to like get me to do things.
Yeah, and it's been fantastic. I've met amazing women. I mean, women like you who really inspire me. I'm older. I could be your mom. But it just activates my heart. It makes me so happy to see that, the next generation and after that as well is in really great hands. So I want to honor you and thank you for that, because it's not easy work. The fact that you got here as an introvert, I know how that is.
Yes.
I'm an ambivert, like I said to you. You know, sometimes I'm an introvert, sometimes so it's a lot easier for me. But I have my struggles. But I want to thank you for sharing your heart. It's been a long day and still you're at your best, and I want to thank you and honor you for that. And so, one last time, your website and where we can reach you.
Yes, so I'm on Instagram at Ally the Life Coach, ALY, the Life Coach, and also on my website at Alyssa Hall Coaching. There's like a bunch of information about coaching, like the specific type of mom that I really work with, and just seeing if that's a good fit for you.
Moms, get on it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been amazing. Thank you.